Hi, everybody. It's Friday, March 27th. And a couple of things. I sent you all an email inviting you to practice your Zooming technique on the computer or on your phone so that we could come together as a community on the computer. My concern is that some of you might be a little hesitant to try this technology, as I was. And I want to assure you that it's pretty easy and straightforward. And so I'd love for you to try out the Zoom um, method of us getting together. And what I'm thinking about is either later tonight or maybe tomorrow afternoon. I'll send you another invitation to connect up with Zoom, and I'll have a 2 or 3 hour stretch where you can just kind of drop in, say hello, see how it works, and then go on about your business. So those of you who know how to use Zoom, if you would also pop in or at least send me an email that tells me you know how to use it. What I'd like to do is on Sunday morning, maybe around 11 o'clock, have a Zoom coffee hour where we all sign in and get together on our computers or by phone, whichever works for you. And everybody has their drink of choice. I suppose some of you could have mimosas. And we'll just check in and see how we're doing. And I'll moderate the coffee hour. So that's my plan. I'd love to do that and then start seeing how we can use Zoom as a technique for having some Bible study, for having, what was I thinking here? Bible study, open office hours for myself, and other sorts of things that might make our community life together feel a little more normal. So please check that out. What I wanted to read you today is a little bit of a new book that was recommended to me by a colleague. This book is called A Paradise Built in Hell. And the idea of it is that the subtitle, The Extraordinary Communities That Arise in Disaster. The idea is that disasters are disasters, certainly, but that the best of people come out in disasters. And it talks about the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, all the way up to the Hurricane Katrina at New Orleans. Also talks about a Mexico City earthquake. I believe it talks about the Oakland earthquake. And so I'm going to be reading this in the next several days. What I wanted to do was read you a little bit of the introduction, which I've read, and then perhaps have a little bit of a prayer time afterwards. Rebecca Solnit says, the word emergency comes from emerge, to rise out of, the opposite of merge, which comes from mergere, to be within or under a liquid, immersed, submerged. An emergency is a separation from the familiar, a sudden emergency into a new atmosphere, one that often demands we ourselves rise to the occasion. Catastrophe comes from the Greek kata, or down, and stryphen, or turning over. It means an upset of what is expected and was originally used to mean a plot twist. To emerge into the unexpected is not always terrible, although these words have evolved to imply ill fortune. The word disaster comes from the Latin compound of dis, or away, without, and astro, star or planet, literally without a star. It originally suggested misfortune due to astrologically generated trouble, as in the blues musician Albert King's classic, Born Under a Bad Sign. In some of the disasters of the 20th century, the big northeastern blackouts in 1965 and 2003, the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake in the San Francisco Bay Area, 2005's Hurricane Katrina on the Gulf Coast, the loss of electric power meant that the light pollution blotting out the night sky vanished. In these disaster-struck cities, people suddenly found themselves under the canopy of stars, still visible in small and remote places. On the warm night of August 15, 2003, the Milky Way could be seen in New York City, a heavenly realm long lost to view until the blackout that hit the Northeast late that afternoon. You can think of the current social order as something akin to this artificial light, another kind of power that fails in disaster. In its place appears a reversion to improvised, collaborative, cooperative, and local society. However beautiful the stars of a suddenly visible night sky, few nowadays could find their way by them. But the constellations of solidarity, altruism, and improvisation are within most of us and reappear at these times. People know what to do in a disaster. The loss of power, the disaster in the modern sense, is an affliction. But the reappearance of these old heavens is its opposite. This is the paradise entered through hell. A paradise built in hell. Of course, what strikes me is that so many people are suffering and dying in this time, and it's not to minimize at all the disaster that is before us, but it is to see and to notice how people are rising to their best selves in terms of the time and danger that they're putting themselves in as healthcare workers and first responders, in terms of the folks who are trying to create masks and refit and refurbish machines and whatnot into PPEs for healthcare workers, in terms of the people who are willing to step forward and help their neighbor for whatever they need. These are the kind of paradises that are met in this hell. So I'm going to reading this book and hear more examples of this, but it strikes me that this paradise is the paradise that's built on love. And so I want to end my time today by reading you a little bit from a book, A Calendar of Wisdom, that was put together by Leo Tolstoy some years ago. Only the spread of love between people can improve the existing social structure. Love gives meaning to human life. This we have known since antiquity. But what is love? Many wise people throughout the ages have tried to solve this question. If you raise people to praise only wealth, power, and glory, then naturally they will praise only these things. If you raise people to love, the feeling of love, they will start to live in love. That was written by a student of Confucius. Only one clear quality marks an action as either good or evil. If it increases the amount of love in the world, it is good. If it separates people and creates animosity among them, it is bad. The time is coming, a time of concord, harmony, forgiveness, and love. Depend on it. We must do everything in our power to bring this time closer and to stop those things which delay its arrival. Friends, walk in love. Have a good evening. say your prayers, wash your hands, sleep well. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.